You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and this is my conversation with Demonaz. Demonaz is the principal songwriter, vocalist and guitarist in a band from Norway called Immortal. The reason for the conversation is to promote Immortal's brand new studio offering for 2018, which is called Northern Chaos Gods. Let's have a listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Card John gave to me ran out of gas, so I've just called back on my Skype account. All good. We can continue. All good.
All right. I'm ready when you are.
No worries, mate. All right, look, I'll kick things off. Now, I'm going to start by saying I'm an old fan, probably as old a fan as you could possibly get for somebody in Australia. My first recollections of extreme metal are actually intertwined with Immortal, meaning that the first album that I ever picked up that I'd classify as an extreme metal release was Pure Holocaust. So that's how far back I go. That was about 1993 or thereabouts, when I was 15 or so. And the cover scared the shit out of me. It was one of those albums where you looked at the cover and you knew what you were going to get. That the music inside was one of those things that was like, what is this? This looks like something from outer space. It doesn't even look satanic. It looks beyond that. It looks like it's something from outer space. But so I'm going to kick off by saying thank you for making the music that you've made, because it's been an integral part of my life for a long time. And to that end, when I was a young fella, and you might laugh at this, but when I used to get ready to go into the city at night on the weekends, my getting together song, if you like, or the song that used to get me psyched up to go out and, to be completely frank with you, try to pick up women and have a bit of a good time, was Storming Through Clouds and Holocaust Winds. So,
wow.
I don't know whether you've ever been given that feedback before, but I loved it. I got right into it back then.
I really hope you get to pick up someone then.
I did a few times, I got to tell you. I mean, God, when you're sort of 18 and 19, it's not easy, let me tell you, when you go into the city and you're going to... I wasn't even going to metal clubs, I was going to dance clubs and the like, and you're trying to talk to women, but I love the track. And
isn't that where all the great girls are?
Yeah.
All the good girls?
well, there are a few clubs where, put it this way, there are a few clubs where you had an easier time in them than in some of the other clubs, put it that way. There wasn't as much competition, if you like, and I'd had that sort of sussed out by that stage. But look, I'm happily married these days. But yeah, look, it's a bit of an introduction, but yeah.
I think if you do the same thing today, try to pick up some girl with listening to that song first, I'm not sure if it would be the same.
not at 40 years of age. God, these days, I've been married for almost 10 years. I've got 2 daughters, as I think I was saying before the bloody call dropped out, and yeah, but I still enjoy your music, mate. And I guess that's what my first question for you was. You've got to be happy.
Did you hear the whole album?
I did, and I've reviewed it already. Yeah, and I like it, by the way.
Okay, so that's good for me to know when we talk, because sometimes when people call, they only heard the first song, and then it's so much different to talk, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. To me, the brand new album, Northern Chaos Gods, it sounds as if it's a natural successor to Blizzard Beasts. Is that right?
I actually talked to Metal Hammer Grease before you called, and the guy said the same. He asked me where I would put this album if I could go back. I told him I would put it between At the Heart of Winter and Blizzard Beast, maybe, in a way. Because I wanted this album to have the energy. It was like, I guess you're going to ask me about what happened to the band in 2014-15, but we can talk about that later.
Yep.
I think it was time to just concentrate on the music. It was really delicious to do that after all the things that happened to us, and I really wanted to go back to the time when we had the real energy and where there was more freedom, to think about the band only and nothing else, and just look out the world and say that we're going to put together an album. I don't care about anybody outside. So it made the album more vital, more furious, more like pushing things to the limit, because I felt that freedom when this time it was only me writing all the riffs, and came up with ideas for the song. So I felt an enormous freedom just to do whatever was necessary to make a great album, and don't think about anybody else so much. Yeah.
The other thing that I really noticed on this album, and this is not a slight on Abbath in the slightest, but you're clearly a better guitarist. Now, what I mean by that is I'm a musician as well, so I listen intently to the guitarist or a bass player's performance, or any musician's performance, including a drummer, of course. Your picking technique is superior to his, and that was probably the first thing that I noticed about the album, even before I made the connection that it was probably a successor to Blizzard Beast. So, have you been given a lot of feedback that the album sounds different because of your guitar playing as well?
Well, I was the main guitarist when if we go back, we could say like from the beginning, I came from this band called Amputation, which was my band. I wrote all the songs there, and it was a death metal band. And when I was doing this, I was thinking, well, it gets a bit monotone because I didn't have the experience for many years of writing at that time. I was very young, and then I wanted to make a new band. I wanted to make the ultimate band. I had the name Immortal and a vision, and then I met Abbath. I saw All Funeral. There was a local band. They were playing at Vafta in Bergen, and I heard the voice of Abbath. I was thinking, and I knew him a bit. I met him, and I knew he was into the same kind of music that I was. And I met him, and I asked him if he wanted to join me. I told him about my plans, that I don't want to play in the weekends. I want to make a proper band and give a shit in the rest of the world and just do this forever. And he wanted to join me, but he had to finish up his concerts with All Funeral. It was 3 or 4 concerts, I think, one in Finland and something, and then he would join me.
Okay.
So I had an idea to find this drummer, which was Armageddon from a guy that I really went to class with in school from younger years. And we knocked at his door and asked if he wanted to play with us, and that's how Immortal came to in the beginning. And we did some demos. It was death metal influence, but my interest was really in Bathory, Venom, and Celtic Frost and Hellhammer and those kind of music. So and the same with Abbath. So we changed afterwards. But my guitar playing, which was the question, started with Tony Iommi. And that was very slow, right? The Black Sabbath things. But when I came into thrash metal and I listened to Metallica, the riffing on the first Metallica album was really fascinating me, It was fast, it was furious, it was something new. They were breaking some limit. And after that, it was like no return. In a way, it was like I wanted to, and the same with Slayer, Slayer also had that fast picking, and it became something that I really rehearsed on and worked on. I always remember Abbath said to me, well, fuck, nobody can pick as fast as you can. And it's not to brag about anything, but it's like that was how I, in a way, started to play. I just wanted to play fast and make this special kind of playing. And on the 4 first Immortal albums, Abbath played the bass. He was not a guitarist. But he was with me also in the songs, composing and making riffs, and he had a lot of brilliant ideas. He's a very talented musician. But we are different in a way. He came from something else when it comes to the instrument. While I was 3 years older than him, and I also helped him a lot with the guitar playing, of course. Because he was young when I met him, and he wasn't that experienced, and I was 3 years at that time of 20 years. When you're 20 years, it's a lot of years,
God, yeah, absolutely.
It's different.
Yeah.
So I was always like, I wanted the music to be faster. I wanted us to make, when we made Pure Holocaust, I wanted the album to be faster than Diabolical from a mysticism. When we made Battles in the North, I wanted to break the speed limit on that one too. And when we did Blizzard Beast, I ripped my arms off.
Yeah, I can hear that. I can definitely hear that. Yeah. So what was?
So
oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say the jump from
Do
diabolical full moon mysticism into pure Holocaust is actually bigger than the jump that Metallica made from Kill 'Em All into Ride the Lightning. So I love both albums, by the way. As I've already explained, I'm an old fan. I think "Unholy Forces of Evil" is one of the greatest tracks ever written by any band ever in any genre. Believe me, I really do. It's a song that when I was younger, I was playing in. You'll laugh at this. I was playing in bands that sounded more like Primus. You know, like that. I wouldn't call it funk, but I play a lot of
Oh,
slap.
I think Primus was cool.
Yeah, I play a lot of slap bass, right? But I was trying to convince the guys in the band, and the drummer was with me to actually cover "Unholy Forces of Evil" in our own style. I loved it that much, but the jump was significant, wasn't it? So, what was the inspiration behind? I know you're talking about playing faster and the like, but Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism has its own sound, and of course, Pure Holocaust takes it to a whole new level. I actually don't think Pure Holocaust has been bested for speed, in that it's just such a fast album. You're recording it about the drummer that you had at the time. Well, that was you playing drums, I think, wasn't it, on the album? Am I correct in saying that?
No, it
Or
was about playing the drums, actually.
Abbath? Well, look,
Mm.
it's so incredibly fast that even in 2018, it doesn't sound dated, and that's a hell of an accomplishment for an album that came out in 1992 or 1993. But what made you what inspired the leap to go as fast as you possibly could? Was it just were you trying to just show everybody in the world that you guys were the fastest and the best black metal band around?
I think it was a combination of my love for Morbid Angel demo, Thy Kingdom Come, and also the Bathory albums, like Massacre, this song, From Under the Sign of the Black Mark. It was like we wanted to play fast and be violent in a way, and the title Pure Holocaust, it really came from the song Holocaust with Bathory
Aha.
from the Don't by Death album.
Okay. Yep.
And I remember those songs were like, they weren't as fast as the song. They weren't like blast beats. They were fast, but they were really intense. And the three first, not the three first songs, but those three fast songs, like Dies Area, Holocaust, and those songs were like, there was something really violent about them. And I was trying to pick really fast. I was trying to make riffs really fast, and at the same time put them into that atmosphere. So I really think we learn also we learned on the way. We were part of a subculture. We didn't even know about it. I think we were like just young and wanted to prove something.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. No, that answers that question. There you go. And out of all of your classic albums, the two in particular, so Pure Holocaust and Blizzard's Battles in the North, sorry. Which one of those two do you get the most feedback from about fans and the media?
I don't know, because I think those two albums define the band in a way. Because Diabolical Full of Mysticism was a more like different record. It was the debut album, and when you do a debut album, it's always like difficult. When you follow up, you have to do something better than the one before. And I just think that we wanted to be faster, we wanted to be more furious. But the question was about who's asking me about those two albums. I think in many ways, Pure Holocaust is a classic to a lot of hardcore black metal fans, while Battles in the North is an album that proved that we will stay there in a way. We wouldn't, even if the cover was white and it was spectacular or different, and the black and white stuff, it was like a statement that this band is not gonna wimp out, at least not on the next album.
Yeah, that's
So
definitely the case.
both those albums, I think, are classics to people in a way.
Okay, yeah. So what inspired you to... I know you haven't necessarily come back because you've always been a part of the Immortal fold, but look, being an old fan, I remember reading through the fanzines and the like back in the day in the 90s, and the very few interviews that I could find on the internet, that you had an injury, of course, you had tendonitis, and you had to take some time out from playing that fast guitar. I know you didn't give up the guitar completely, as a lot of people misunderstand. But what has inspired
Yeah,
you?
it's a big misunderstanding, really, because what happened was that after this Abbath,
Yeah.
I got problems with my arm. It was the left arm that was the problem, and I got like numb in the arm from playing. It means that I had to slow down on the playing. There was not a problem with the technical ability. There was not a problem with that I had to stop playing, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't rehearse that much. Like we were used to going to the rehearsal room every day, play for 2 hours, and then maybe you will play guitar when you come home or whatever. But it became like I got tired in the arm when I was playing after half an hour. It was like I couldn't do it for that long time. So what happened was that when we came to the point with At the Heart of Winter, we wrote the album, but I couldn't record it because sometimes there was days I couldn't play. I just had to say, well, today I can't play because the arm is like fucked up because of yesterday,
Yeah.
But what we did, instead of finding a new guitar player, because me and Abbath understood that if I would quit the band would be over.
Okay. There you
And
go.
it's very easy because I wrote all the lyrics, I wrote the majority of the music, and that is why we continue this way. So it became a bit frustrating for us in this period. But after At the Heart of Winter, that is why we had session bassists, so that the core of the band could be me, Abbath, and Horn. Because it was us three that was the drive of the band. We were working with the band. It was the three of us that were in the rehearsal room, worked with the songs, and the other guys never came into the band like Iscaria or
Yeah, the other guys that came in after.
The other guys had never been they never became full members,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when we wrote Damn It Black, I lost a bit of the spirit because I felt like there was something with me and Abbath also. We didn't have the same passion, and he was experimenting with, I don't know if I should tell everything, but it's like, so we lost it a bit on Damn It Black, and I think you can hear that that album wasn't as vital as the other ones.
I thought it came out. Sorry, you go.
And then we were like, when we going to record Sons of Northern Darkness, we shaped up. I remember we were talking, and fuck man, we can't let this band go to hell. We have to work on this album. And me and Abbath got closer again, and we were working with this album very close. But after Sons of Northern Darkness, it took toll on us, It was like he had his problems, and I was also a bit like, I saw that maybe we can't say this. So we decided to take a break.
Yeah, yep.
But I never gave up on Immortal. Abbath wanted to do this project. It means like I found the name for that, and I wrote the lyrics for that, and I backed them up, But it was like, my intention was that I did it because I thought that if we do an album together now, maybe we can do Immortal again. Maybe I could convince him, or maybe we could get back on that passion way and find a solution for Immortal. And we did that. We came back in 2007. We made Also Fall, but it didn't become the same. The passion was lost in a way because of some disagreements between us, and because he had his personal issues, whatever that is. I really don't want to go into that too much because he's not here when I'm talking, and there's no bad blood between us.
No, I understand.
Really.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm not bitter. There's not a problem with that, but we didn't function as a band the way I wanted it. I thought we lost something on the way. The spirit wasn't there 100%, and I need that. So when the conflict came after Also Fall, and after we wrote that next album, which he took with him and created as his own solo album with some changes, whatever, it was clear that we had to separate. And when that happened, to me, there was a relief in a way, because the problems had been going on for so many years. And I felt the freedom to take back the band and vitalize it, go back and I wanted to find the energy that was there, like we were talking about in 93, 94, 95, and I locked the wall out. I told Hog to, or we were talking about it. Let's just forget about everything now. Anyone, and let's do the next Immortal album. And when the album is ready, we can talk to people again. It's easy as that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. God, that's a very comprehensive summary of about the last 15 years you've just given me there. And
I
it's
try my best.
no, you've done really well because it I don't feel like I need to ask any questions about Abbath because what you've done is as I say, you've given me a very good summary of what the last 15 years has held. What's interesting though that you said there was that there was an album written that Abbath took with him. So is that the music that ended up on his Abbath on the actual album that he released? Is it, which was destined to be an Immortal album?
We made nearly all the songs and pre-productions for all those songs. And when the conflict ended, before that, he left, and he took with him. He made a lot of those riffs, and some of those songs were his major parts, you know. So that's all right. But we worked on this together with the structure and everything.
Yeah, the arrangements were done by you. Yeah.
And when he decided to leave the band, suddenly he found some members without telling us, and because we were in the middle of this disagreement, back and forth. And then he said goodbye in a way with just taking those songs and leaving us. You know, he didn't take my lyrics. I think that was out of respect in some way, but whatever. So we started. I had to start from scratch in late 2015 after he left, and I wrote Northern Chaos Gods as the first song. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the first song I wrote just after. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Look, I'll take a bit of a 90-degree turn and I'll ask you about your relationship with Australia because, as I've pointed out a few times, I'm an old fan and I'm not the only one. There's quite a lot of us down here that do like the band, and I'm sure I'm correct in saying the only time Immortal ever toured was in 2007 or 2008, and then it was only, I think he only played Sydney and Melbourne, or Sydney or Melbourne. It was a very short tour that you did. It was.
We did Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, and one more city, I think.
Did you play Brisbane? Did you? I mean, yeah, that's where I'm from. So I didn't. I was really disappointed that I couldn't go and see you, but I think it was because I thought you were only playing in Sydney or Melbourne. There you go. My bad.
Yeah, and we also played New Zealand, Auckland, and what's the last city called?
Auckland.
I don't remember.
Auckland or Wellington, it probably would have been.
Auckland and Wellington. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. So what have you got a lot of mail over the years from Australia? Because I was reading in a very old interview with you last night that was posted in about 1997. And this was, you were interviewed prior to the release of Blizzard Beasts, and you were talking about doing a tour, and that included Australia. So we must have been on your radar very early on as a place that you wanted to either visit and or you had fans down here.
I always wanted to go there. I always wanted to go to New Zealand also, especially because I heard so much about it. But we never had the opportunity to go before in 2007. So it was like when we finally got there, we really had a great time there. Really, I thought it was fantastic to be there. I thought it was like people there were totally different. It was like very nice, actually, really nice. And the fans from there were really into it. And in Sydney, there were like, I think it was like 800 people on the concert, or 900, I'm not sure, but it was like really intense and great, and the people were really enthusiastic about it. We had a really good time, so I really want to come back, you know.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm going to plant this as a seed that I hope grows, because I know that Peter Tagtron, of course, produced the album, and I had a chat to him a couple of weeks back because he's coming down with his industrial vehicle Pain. But what I'd love to see is a two-pronged attack, so Immortal and Hypocrisy. What do you reckon? Do you reckon you could bring that show down to Australia?
Well, why not?
Yeah, I know.
Could be killer.
Yeah, look, I know Dicey from Glenn Dyson. Sorry, he's the chap who runs or owns. I think it's not. Is it Destroy All Lines? One of the agencies, one of the touring companies over here. Anyway, so I might send him a bit of a message to hit both yourself and Peter up to try to bring you guys down as a bit of a package actually, because that'd be a hell of a show. Prior to Martin Eric Aim passing away, I actually thought that Celtic Frost and Immortal would be the perfect package, but that obviously can't happen. So Hypocrisy, not that they're the next best thing. Hypocrisy are also an excellent band, and Peter's a wonderful bloke. That'd be a heck of a tour, but it actually does allow me to lead into my next question. So I'll make that a point, and I'll ask you this next question: how did you go working with Peter? Because I know he's worked with some of the best in the biz in heavy metal. Was it just a natural choice to work with him for the new album?
Well, the first time we worked with him was at the Heart of Winter, and he produced all the albums after, more or less. And it's like this time we wanted to go with him as well, and we're working with him very early about it. And after we did I go back to 2015. We're starting to write the album, and I start with Nothing Else Gods, and then we were finished with all the songs 1 year after, late 2016. The pre-production was finished. We sent it to Peter. We already talked to him before, and when he heard it, we were talking about the sound, how I wanted it, and how Horde wanted the drums and everything. And I realized this is the way to go because he understands it. He's a brilliant musician and also a great producer. So what happened was that we entered the studio in 2017, just a few months after all the songs were finished, in January. And the drums were recorded in 1 week. And then I started to do the guitars. And I did the guitars in Bergen, not in Abyss. I recorded it here in my city. And when I sent down the guitar tracks, Peter offered to do the bass. He told Horg first that the songs are great. I can do the bass if you want. Maybe that would be good for you. And I thought it was a good idea because I made all the riffs, and I thought on the pre-productions it was like I was playing more or less. I'm not a bassist, so I was playing more like with the guitars, if you understand what I mean. But he was objective, so he could do the bass in a different way. And he sent us some tracks with the bass on, and I was instantly hooked. And also for the production, it was like just what I wanted. It was like, wow, this sounds like the guitars were lo-fi, the drums were really dark sounded with not too much sustain. So I thought it was like it immediately brought me into the right atmosphere and the vision that I had, for the songs.
Yeah.
Heavy, fast, grim and dark, and even like you could think back to those albums in 94, 95, 96. Without the song, it sounded like it was recorded in the garage, So I really loved it, and I loved the way he was playing the bass and then the Motorheadish sound he made into that.
Yeah.
So some kind of distortion. It was really powerful. So it was a no-brainer. From there, I just said, just do the bass on every song. It was fantastic.
Cool. Mate, I think that's my time up, half an hour. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. As I say, it's really thrilling for me to do what it is that I do these days because I'm able to talk to musicians and artists whose music I've followed for 25 years. I've been following you guys. And you're a good bloke, mate. I really want to thank you for answering all of my questions and for giving so much detail as what you've done. It never fails to amaze me that a lot of the bands that I really like and I've admired growing up, they end up being really nice people when I talk to them over the phone. And I'm here in Australia, you're in Norway, so we're bloody all the way across the world from each other. But I just want to thank you for the chat and thank you so much for making the music that you make. And I really hope to see you down here in Australia sometime in the near future.
Yeah, it's really good to talk to you, and good talk and good questions. I usually, if the questions are great, I normally talk a lot. If not, I just say yes or no. So this was definitely a good one.
No, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it. So, congratulations again. Yeah.
Thank you, and have a great Saturday.
No worries, mate. Thank you very much again. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Gotcha. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with Demonaz, the principal songwriter, guitarist and vocalist in a band from Norway called Immortal. Thank you so much for listening.